Welcome you all to the course on machine learning. In today's session, we'll be talking about an introduction to the expectation maximization clustering algorithm. Let's begin. First, we will have the problem of latent variable for maximization likelihood. First, we will have the basic idea what is that what is meant by this latent variable, and then we will discuss about the maximum likelihood estimations. In the previous lecture, we talked about the different probabilities when we are dealing about the Naive-Bayes classifier, and that we discussed about that we have seen the example of tossing the 2 coins, and we discussed about that what will be the probability of joint probability as well as the conditional probability and other things, right? When you're talking about that in statistic modeling, a common problem arises as to how we can try to estimate a joint probability distribution for a data sets. If we have the data sets, and for the data set, now we uh, need to find out that what will be the joint probability of whatever the data set which is given. So, which is joint probability distribution, we need to find out, right? For that, so first of all, we need to find out that the probability density which has to be calculated, which is based on the construction of an estimate based on the observed data. So here the observed data which talks about that whatever the data which is available, which is the data set which is given, and from the available data set we need to find out some data set which might be the inconsistent data set or the missing data sets or missing data, right? So this process involves that selecting a probability distribution functions and the parameters. We need to select the probability distribution function as well as parameters that explains the joint probability of the observed data. So we need to select the parameters as well as probability distribution function in such a way that so that which has the best joint probability among the available data set, whether the function the probability function could be maximum likelihood estimation or the Gaussian kernel function. So there are so many examples that we will discuss in the later part of this tutorial. Now, this is again a simple diagrammatic representation through which how the density distribution can be demonstrated. So here, this is the code for the Python language, right? First, in the first step, I'm just explaining importing the two library, matplot library, and then pyplot as well as the numpy. So these the standard importing the library function. So here I'm just taking a data set which is a variable is sample that is going to have that the size which is equal to 2000 data. So here for the simple example I am just taking the sample data set which is 2000 in size, and then I am going to find out, I am going to plot the values which is whatever the values which is there in the sample which has 2000. So here the 2000 sample which is going to be plotted using that HAST. HAST stands for histogram. When you talk about that histogram is the graphical representation of how the data are distributed, right? And here the bin refers to that the number of partitions or number of sets which need to provide. So here this the diagram here which we represent, so this is again one bin, again two bin, again second, third, and then four, five, and then six. So like the way, so here we have the total number of 50 classes or 50 sets. So this is a base, I could say that. So here when we discuss about this, right, again the next one we are going to show the graph whatever which is plotted. So now, so this is what how the density or the sample value which comes here. So here I could say that, so here we draw through the pen and we will get the proper curve. So here, so this is a graph or the distribution which I could say that where the maximum value which lies in the value which are near to zero or which is equal to zero. So here when we have the zero values, so here we have near about 120 or 130 value which is lies here, 130 samples which lies near the range of zero. Again when we take about that value 1, so here near about 70 value which comes under that near to the 1, very similar to the when we take about 3 or 3.5 which is near about 1 or 2 sample which lies in this area. So here, so this the histogram diagram, so which gives that how the data are distributed among the various, the sets are various range. And when you talk about that, the next one, so here depends on the variable or the available, the selected bins. Now we can have the better classification set. So here, the choice of number of bins plays an important role here in terms of the number of bars in the distribution and the terms of how well the density is plotted. So in the previous example, we discussed about that there was near about 50 bins. So here in this diagram or in this graph, I'm just considering only the 5, which again, so in the same code, which if I convert into the bins value which is equal to 5, so here, so here the total number of bins which are 5, 1, so this is 1, 2, this is bin 3, and then bin 4, and then so bin 5. So here I'm going to have only the 5 class of data, and the 5 class of data, how it is going to divided, how it is going to be segregated again. So it will take about the first range to the last value, first value to the last value out of that within the range. So it is going to be evenly divided by 5, so we will get the 5 6. So based on that the range, whatever the data which comes into that the specific range, so that is going to be plotted. So here when we talk about that -1, so here near about -1 to again, so here 0.5 0.5, so here near about 1000 values or 1000 data which lies under this category. So here if the data lies in this range, so that will be the actual data, maximum likelihood data which belongs to the correct classes. Next, we will discuss about the few terms which are related to the density estimations. When you talk about the density estimation, so which is requires selecting a probability distribution function and the parameters of the distribution that best express the joint probability of the distribution of the sample. So this I was explaining in the previous slides also, right? We need to now to find out the density estimation. We need to find out the proper probability distribution function that could be the Gaussian kernel function, and the parameters that is going to split that is going to provide the best joint probability. So how we are going to do that density estimation, which is completely based on that. The problem with the density estimation can be the following. So this problem which has to be solved out of that. So first problem will be that how do we choose the probability distribution function. The first thing is that what type of function we are going to choose it, whether it is the univariate or multivariate Gaussian function or distribution functions. The second one is that how do we choose the parameters for the probability distribution functions, and whatever the parameter we are going to use, that means that the means and then variance, how we are going to find out that the parameters, how we are going to use in the distribution functions. The first thing is that the function what we are going to use find out the density, and the second one is that the parameters which we are going to use. So here the first one will be the probability distribution function, and the second one is that the parameters what we are going to use for that function. So what is the common solution or a common solution to solve this problem will be a maximum likelihood estimation or the maximum likelihood operation. So this is through this method we can find out a solution to these two issues, how we can able to find out the probability function or distribution function and then the probability distribution function parameters. Now, when you talk about the maximum likelihood estimation, and when you talk about that, so here maximum likelihood estimation is the method of estimating the parameters of the probability distribution by maximizing the likelihood function in order to make the observed data most probable for the statistical model. So here, when you talk about the observed data here, so that could be available data and which we are using in our sample. So this data we have it, and from the available data now we are going to do some operation and we are going to find out some value. So that is going to be best match with our best maximum likelihood to the existing data, which will be maximum likelihood with the existing data sets. But there lies the limitation with the maximum likelihood. It assumes that the data is incomplete. Data is complete and fully observed. So this is our referred as the observed data. It does not really mandate that the model will have access to all the data. Instead it assumes that all the variables relevant to the model are already present. But in some cases, some relevant variables may remain hidden and cause inconsistencies. And these unobserved or hidden variables known as the latent variables. So this, when you talk about this, the latent variables, so this latent variable could be some missing data or inconsistent data or some hidden variables or unobserved data. So if we have the data set, sometimes that we may find that, and one or two data for the specific data type might be missing, and so there could be inconsistent data that may not be used for further operation. In that cases, what we need to do is that we need to find out the best value which will fit in that place with the available data. So here we are going to find out that maximum likelihood estimation wherever there is a missing data or the inconsistent data, so that we are going to do some mathematical calculation and then we are going to find out the value. So that value which is going to be placed in that place, and that will be used for our further applications. Now, in the presence of latent variable, a conventional maximum likelihood estimator will not work as expected. So, this sometimes we are using it and using the maximum likelihood estimation, so that may not have worked properly. So, in that cases, what we need to is that, so here it is better that whenever we find that the latent variables are available in our data sets, that means that the latent variable could be the missing or inconsistent data. In that cases, we can use or we can introduce this new method, which will be the expectation maximization algorithm. So again, so this the expectation maximization algorithm, which involves two parts. The first one is that, so we are going to expect that what will be the best value, and then we are going to maximize the probability to fit in that particular place. So here, so we are going to include or incorporate this algorithm, which is EM algorithm or expectation maximization algorithm. Now we will be discussing about what is meant by this expectation maximization algorithm. When we talk about the EM algorithm, which was proposed in the year of 1997 by Arthur Dempster, Neil Ladd, and then Donald Rubin. So it is basically used to find the local maximum likelihood parameters of a statistical model in case the latent variable are present or the data is missing or incomplete. So this is very simple that when where this uh, expectation maximization algorithm used means when we have the data set, if the data set consists of some latent variables. So here this latent variables would be if the data is missing, there is no data, and if the data is incomplete or inconsistent for that type of data, so now this expectation maximization, which is going to use that or find the maximum likelihood values. So this is what the basic agenda of incorporating this expectation maximization algorithm. Now, this is again a simple diagrammatic representation example through which I can explain how we can able to incorporate this expectation maximization algorithm. Now here, so this is, I could say that these are the maximum values are the available data set are different shapes which are arranged in the proper way. So, but here I could assume this is the latent variable, and one shape is missing. Now, what we are going to do is that, so this I could say that latent variable, inconsistent data, or improper data, right? Or if the data is missing. So now this has to be applied into that. The first step is that maximization expectation steps. Now what we are going to do is that. So from the available data sets, data one, and then data two, and then data three, data four, data five. Now we are going to find out that the rough values are some average value, and then we will try to find out the new model or the new value. So this is going to be try to fit into this place where we have the missing value. So first we will try to fit in that way. Suppose if it is not fitting into that, Now what we will do that we will try to adjust the rotation. We will try to rotate, might be in the left rotation or right rotation, 45 degree, 90 degree, so that we will keep on rotating, and then we will try to fix it. And then after fixing it, we are going to check that whether whatever the data we have fixed in that missing place, whether it is matching properly. If it is matching, then we are going to stop the algorithm. Else again, so we are going to repeat the process. We are going to repeat the step number 2 and then 3. So here this is the step number 2, which is expectation, and then step number 3, which is maximization. So this process which has to be repeated unless until we find the proper data which will fit into the missing place. Now here, so as I explained on the previous slide, again this is the definition or the steps, right, through which we will understand it more clearly, right. The expectation maximization algorithm follows the following steps in order to find the relevant model parameters in the presence of latent variables. First, consider a data set of starting parameters and incomplete data, and the second step is that which could be our expectation step. In this step, so we will be, so our, this will be used to estimate the values of the missing values in the data. So here the expectation step, using that step we are going to calculate, or we are going to find out that the missing values. So it involves the observed data to basically guess the values in the missing data. Now we will use the mathematical values, so guessing, and then we'll be doing the calculation, and then we will find out the new values. And the third step, which will be our maximization steps. In this step generates a complete data after the expectation steps, update the missing value in the data. So now, so here we are going to increase the probability of that the value which match with the missing data using the maximization steps. And so this process which is going to be repeated unless until the convergence it's made. When you talk about the convergence, so here the concept of convergence is the probabilities based on an intuition. So that means that if whatever the value which is newly calculated and that is going to match exactly, there should be less noise, or I could say that less error. If there are two random variables, this is an example through which I can explain what is meant by this convergence. If there are two random variables, if the probability of their difference is very small, this is negligible. In case if it is zero point zero 0.00 something, and which is negligible, and in that cases it is said to be converse. That means that when you talk about that, converse means almost same 90% or somewhat in the range which is maximum same, right. That cases converges means that if the values are almost match each other. So this is again convergence. If the results are converged means if the first results and then second result which is going to be equal. So with this, we will continue with that. How does this expectation maximization algorithm works, right? So here, the basic idea behind the expectation maximization algorithm is use the observed data to estimate the missing data and then updating those values of the parameters. Keeping the flowchart in mind, let us understand how the EM algorithm works. Now, this is again a simple flow chart which I referred from Edureka. And so here we will first we will start our the process, and then we will have the initial value. So this the initial values could be our the missing or the inconsistent values or latent variables, and so that will be applied into the each step, and then where we will be finding out that the missing values, and then we are going to implement or incorporate into the MCs or maximization steps, right? And then so we are going to check that whether the results are converged, right? If the results are converged, now we are going to stop the process, and then we assume that we calculated the correct value. Else again we will repeat the step number 2 and then 3 unless until we calculate that the new value that will converge with the existing data sets. Now here this is detailed explanation how the steps expectation as well as maximization steps works, right. And when you talk about that expectation steps, so this step we use the observed data to estimate the missing or incomplete data. It is basically used to update the variables. And when you talk about the third step, which is the maximization steps, or M step, which is used to complete the data generated in the each steps. So whatever the data set which data which we calculate in each step. So that is going to increase the probability where that could be probable with the existing data, right? So this step basically updates the hypothesis, whatever the function which we are going to use, and that is going to try to update the values. And in the last step, it is checked whether the values are converging or not. We are going to check that whether the results are going to converge or not. If the values matches, then we do nothing else. We will continue the step 2 and 3 until the convergence is met. Right? The Eve algorithm is also known as clustering other than the density estimation. So here we are going to use the Gaussian mixture model. So we all might be knowing about that what is the Gaussian kernel function when we talk about the radial basis function, right? We discussed about the Gaussian kernel function where we will solve the problem which is based on that how we can able to find out the hyperplane that will segregate the XR gate where we calculated that the formula Gaussian kernel function, right? Which can you remember the formula which is uh, m power d2 square, I mean d max square, and for in bracket e power minus x minus c and the whole square. So this is that formula we discussed about. M is the maximum number of center. For our example, we are consider it is 2, and the d is the maximum distance we calculated, which is 2, and then e is the Euler constant, which is 2 power 8713, and then in bracket x is the new center, and the I mean the new data set which we are going to find it, and then the c is the center. Now we need to find out the distance, and then what was the formula which is used to find out the distance between the 2 points? We used the Euclidean distance formula and to find out the distance between the two, and then we found out the new values, and then we calculated or we drawn that new hyperplane that segregates the two data sets. Very similar to that. So here we are going to use that the Gaussian mixture model is the mixture model that uses the combination of the probability distribution and also requires the estimation of mean and standard deviation parameters. So here this the Gaussian mixture model. So here we are going to use the probability distribution or the probability density distribution. I could say that. Apart from that, we are going to use some the mathematical types of whatever the data we have available, and that data, I mean mean and then standard deviation parameter, which is going to be used in the further the operations, right? And so here, apart from that, we will try to use one more technique, which the maximum likelihood estimation. So that will be uh, maximum likelihood estimation. So here, the Gaussian mixture model is the best maximum likelihood estimation. And now this is a simple diagrammatic representation how the maximum the Gaussian mixture model which may works, right, is that uses the combination of probability distribution and that requires the estimation of mean standard deviation of the parameters. Now this diagram, so here we will identify that there are two data sets. So here there are, I could say, the two classes. So here this is one class of data. Now again, so here this could be another class of data. Very similar to that, there could be the depends upon the data set available. There could be the n number of classes. How this the data has been distributed among the available bins whatever we are selecting. So with this, we will complete our the today's session, right? And in the next session, we will try to understand this the expectation maximization algorithm with mathematically with the available the example as well as mathematical calculations. Thank you.